Greetings again, Choombas. This time, unusual ranged weapons. We're talking about weapons for crowd control, for stealthy missions, situations where you may not want killing, maiming, destroying, blowing up your target to be the only option. You may want the option of subduing them, of drugging them, destroying their armor with acid, that kind of stuff. Maybe using a laser, burn a hole through their armor and stuff. Anyway, we're just going to jump right in. Number one is AirGuns. AirGuns. We're talking about a high-tech cyberpunk version of a paintball gun. Super cool. These things, actually, it's pretty cool in Cyberpunk. What you can do with a paintball gun. Well, with a air gun, right? Not a yeah. Anyway, you can fire a paintball with it. Now, these aren't just the traditional paintballs, that you had fun with out in the park trying to shoot at your friends. These are the paintballs, and these are proving why you want to wear goggles when you're playing games with them. In Cyberpunk, a paintball, if you get a headshot, okay, that's number one. If you get a headshot, then you have a 5 in 10 chance of blinding the target for 3 rounds because you got paint in their eyes. Okay. Now, you also get a 4 in 10 chance of permanently destroying an eye. Okay. So if your target's not wearing a helmet, goggles, something, some glasses, some reason, some way they can avoid it, you roll that die 10, 1, 2, 3, or 4, you've destroyed an eye. Which eye? Both eyes? That's up to the ref. Personally, I will usually assume it's one eye, or maybe give each roll each eye a 50-50 or 20 or 30 or 40% chance. Maybe do the 4 in 10, 40% chance die roll for each eye. Okay, give the options. It's up to the ref, though. Depends on how deadly, how nasty you want to be about it. And the other direction, if you just want to combine this as one roll, you make one die roll. 1, 2, 3, or 4, you've destroyed an eye. You get a 5. Now you've only blinded the target for 3 rounds. Whatever, it's up to the ref. Not really specific on exactly how to play that out. But paintballs are damn cool in Cyberpunk, right? Okay. Poison and drugs. You can also load up your air gun with a poison paintball. Not paint at all. It's just, a pellet with poison in it or a drug in it. Now, there's a few drugs and poisons that are specifically in the core book, but if your character has the contacts or has the skills themselves, or members of the party can get together and combine their skills to be able to create other drugs, create other toxins, or different kinds of paint, or different kinds of acid, other compounds. It's up to your ref, but absolutely you should go for it. But specifically, the stuff that is in the core book, there it is. I'll put it on the screen. Hallucinogens, nausea, sleep drugs, biotoxins of various levels. Some of those can get pretty damn nasty, okay? But there you go. Now, the way poison and drugs work, assuming you make your hit, first of all, of course, you have to make your hit on the target. But if you do make that hit, then the target has to make a save. Now, all the book says is make a successful save. I've always played that as a save on an RT&D skill, research, torture, and drugs skill roll. The target number, it's up to the ref. Again, I don't see it specified in here. I've always just played it. It depends on where the drug came from or the poison or whatever it is. And as a ref, played it out based on who created it, and the skill they rolled or they used to create it determines the difficulty of making the RT&D skill check. So that's the way I play it. Hey, if there's something else, if I missed something in here, please do leave a comment below. Let me know about it, because I would appreciate that, having more information. That's poison and drugs. Now let me make a mention real quick. If you would do me a favor, hit that bell for me, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you find out if that there's a new video out, right? You want to be notified? Hit the button, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. YouTube will let you know. I appreciate that if you do, if you take your time to do that for me. Acid. We're talking about acid next. Now, the basic acid pellets or paint acid balls from the core book are die 6 damage per pellet. Now, armor will stop it. Okay, just like any kind of most kinds of damage, armor will stop it. However, Acid will eat away at your armor. Acid will eat a die 6 of SP per round for 3 rounds. I say up to 3 rounds for 3 rounds. The book says for 3 rounds. Now, again, if a player, character, or group, a contact of the player, if the ref wants to throw some cool round at you, give you a few of them to play with, it could be a stronger acid. It could be a weaker acid. So play with those numbers, make it your own. But the core book is a die 6 SP is burned away for 3 rounds, per round for 3 rounds. Okay, next one on the list is tasers. Tasers require a victim to make a stun save. Now, stun saves are different. Stun saves depend on, your body. And then if you have any wounds, depends on how badly you're wounded, you can take negatives. That's not that chart. Sorry about that. Okay, I don't have that chart handy. That's okay. It's okay. Basically, your wounds, you get to take a -2, -3, or whatever. Now, I do have another video, covers stun saves and stuff. I'll try to throw a link up here for that, a card up at the top, if you want to check that out. Now, with tasers, you do take a -2 for every shot for 3 rounds. So, in other words, you hit that guy with a taser round, they take a -2 to their stun check, in addition to whatever their wound level is. So if they're already at a wound level that it gives them a -2 or -3 or whatever, they take an additional -2 for every time you hit them with a taser. If you do every round for 3 rounds with a taser, that third round they're taking a -6 plus whatever their wound state modifier is. So yeah, tasers can be nasty. Might take a couple of rounds depending on who you're firing it at, but it will knock them out. Of course, they fail as a stun save. They fall unconscious depending on the wound level. Could be worse than that. Tasers take an hour plugged into a regular wall outlet to fully recharge. Okay, tasers. Tasers are cool. When you don't want to necessarily kill every target in the room, but you do need to get past them, there you go. Dart and needle guns. Okay, these can be a little bit scary. Some of these can be pretty scary. But dart guns, you can load them up with a poison, you can load them up with a drug, something else. Same chart as before for the air guns. They only take a die 6 divided by 2 damage, plus whatever the effect of the poison, the drug, whatever it's loaded with. Again, see the other chart for the air guns. Some needle guns can be pretty frightening. They have a pretty high rate of fire on some of them. Squirt guns, powered squirt guns. Okay, Super Soaker's got nothing on these things. Again, you use the same charges for air guns, same poisons, drugs, acids, that kind of stuff can be loaded up in a powered squirt gun. But one trigger pull of your power squirt gun is equal to 2 pellets from that air gun chart. Twice as much effect. That can be pretty frightening too. The only things as a ref you keep in mind, you can't take a regular powered toy squirt gun and load it up with acid and think it's going to work. Okay, acid's going to melt the plastic. You have to have a powered squirt gun that was built for whatever it is you're going to put in it. It's also up to the ref if, depending on its construction, on its quality, how long it lasts, if it breaks, if it's a fumble normally on a 1, or if it's on a 1, 2, or 3, maybe, if it's a poor quality made component or weapon there, that a 1, 2, or 3 and a fumble might be a fumble on that power squirt gun. But the effects can be pretty nasty. Okay, we're also going to talk about next bows, crossbows, spears, and throwing stars. It's kind of an odd combination, but stuff that you use in similar ways. Bows, crossbows, spears, throwing stars, they're all available in Cyberpunk World. They're not really common necessarily, according to the core book. They are not common. They're not something you are going to get at every shop. You can get a lot of different kinds of handguns and other firearms, but these things, come on, a spear, for example, is not going to be the most common thing you walk into a store and get. But could be a specialty store, up to your ref. Anyway, now, throwing stars, spears, anything that you would throw that is tossed, thrown, whatever, These are going to use a throwing skill. Shurikens, darts, knives, when you throw them, anything like that, it's going to use throwing skill. Bows, crossbows, that kind of a weapon is going to be using your archery skill. Now, these would modify that and say, depending on your ref, depending on how you guys are playing your particular game, you may have a martial art or another skill that this is a weapon for it, and the ref will let you use the throwing star with your ninja power skill, whatever it is, right? Talk to your ref about that. But the basic are you got a throwing skill, you got an archery skill, you use the appropriate one depending on the type of weapon. Now, how far can you throw a throwing star? How far can you throw a spear? Well, it's your body times 3 in meters. The only exception is grenades. Grenades are a totally separate animal. They're covered separately. They have their own rules. But for spears, throwing stars, shurikens, knives, whatever stuff like that you want to throw, it's your body times 3 in meters. That's how far you can throw them. Now we get into the high-tech fun stuff, right? Beam weapons. We're talking about lasers, microwaves, cool microwavers, as they're called in the game. Okay, these are fun stuff. Now, these are very limited availability. These are things you're going to have to acquire from a government, from a major corporation, not just any corporation, not just some small-time info broker or weapon maker or whatever corporation. This is going to be a big one. You're going to have to get one of these from like Arasaka, from Militech, from the federal government, something like that. And even then, there's a 1 in 10 chance that you're going to be able to get it, that's going to be available. So very, very hot, rare items. Refs really watch the availability of these items. You want to keep them special. Doesn't mean you can't have them. Doesn't mean you can't have a group of Arasaka Black Ops team squad, whatever, that are all carrying lasers. That's okay. You can have that, but don't have it every time. Don't have all of them be functional. If the team, either the players overcome the team, maybe only 1 or 2 of them still have a charge. Maybe they all have partial charges. We're going to talk about charges and lasers right now. Lasers have a rechargeable power pack. They hold 10 six-sided die, 10 die 6 of damage in the power pack. You have a dial, you have an adjustment on this laser. You can use it at 1 die 6 up to 5 die 6 per shot. That's the normal. If you want to have something modified, that's up to your ref. You got a tech in the group, the tech wants to play with it, maybe turn it up to 11. That's up to you guys. That's up to your group and up to your ref. Core book is 10 six-sided die of damage that is stored in the power pack at a time. You can adjust a laser from 1 die 6 to 5 die 6 per shot. Once you've used all 10, that's it. It's drained. Plug it into the wall. Takes a die 6 per hour to recharge. Okay. Now you can do two shots of 5 die 6. You could do, 5 shots of 2 die 6. However you want to split it up, but you got 10 die 6 to play with until you recharge it. Microwavers. Okay, microwavers. These get really fun when you got a group. I'll tell you, as a ref, and certain players probably need to be watching for this coming up soon, actually, in a certain game. If you got a lot of players with a lot of cyberware in your game, and they seem to be running amok, they're taking over, they're being murder hobos, whatever, bring out the microwavers. That'll slow them down. We'll see here in a second. Microwavers are fired like a ranged weapon. They do a die 6 burn damage. In addition, any target within a meter, 3 feet, give or take, of the target must roll a die 6. And we're going to bring up, I think I've got that chart. Yeah, there it is. Okay, this is the microwave results of chart. So you fire a microwaver at a target, does a die 6 burn damage, plus the target rolls on this chart. Okay. Any characters within a meter, 3 feet of the target also roll on this chart. Nasty, nasty stuff. Now, there's the 6 items on this list. I've seen some expanded charts. I've considered putting together a PunkGenerator side effect chart. Let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in. If you guys want to have me put one together. If you know of a chart you think is cool, drop that down there too. Let everybody know about it so we can make use of it and have fun as players and as refs. Enjoy that. So I'm going to take a moment here in the middle of talking about this. Shop.punkgenerator.com. There's all kinds of cool swag stuff, t-shirts and all that. There's the expanded martial arts chart, the free 2020 character sheet. Check it out. See what you think. Pick something up. Support the channel. Appreciate it. Thank you. All the stuff. Do all that stuff. I appreciate it. Moving on with microwavers. Like lasers, microwavers recharge from wall socket an hour, 1 hour to get some kind of a charge, but and it doesn't quite say this in the book, but I would play it the same way as a laser. It takes an hour per die 6 to recharge it. So you get a minimum, if it's dead, it needs a minimum 1 hour, and you get 1 die 6. You charge it for 5 hours, you got 5 die 6 in the power pack. That kind of thing. Again, though, you got a tech in the group. Might be able to modify it. Might be able to fast charge it. Might increase its potential to blow up or do something else. But hey, you can give it a shot, right? Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about in the next video is going to be area effect weapons. We're not going to cover that in this one, but next video we're going to talk about shotguns and grenades and explosives and flamethrowers and rockets and all that fun stuff. It's going to be great. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it very much. And see you in the next video, eh? All right,
finished the
see you
job,
next time.
But our story is just beginning.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.